Hello, friends. Which one shall it be? Conquer and divide, or connect and unite? There's a lot of uproar out there right now, and I hear a lot of people being into the conquer and divide. And if that is what you choose, you will simply choose the timeline that continues with those energies, with those attitudes. We are at a time where we have to choose. It's not, nobody is choosing for us. There's no God out there saying, you're bad, so you're going to go on this continuation of war and conquering and dividing. And you're good and you can go on the one to oneness. No, no, no. That's not how it works. You choose. I choose. I am the God of my own expression. And so are you. We all are. We are literally divine expressions. And depending on what image or slide we put in front of that light that we are, that is going to be our experience. And that is basically the bottom, the foundation of spirituality in this dimension. There's a lot more to spirituality. But if we want to start moving out of it, we need to be aware that we are creating our own reality and we're perpetuating it, we're maintaining it, we're sustaining it just by the choices we agree with, the choices and the thoughts that we engage in. It's really a matter of choice. And I will probably talk about this for a while because we are at a place now in our evolution where there's kind of a bifurcation happening. And I think I've shared this before many, many, many years ago when I still lived in Denmark. There was a man, his name was Martinez. This was in the 80s. It was my very early days in spirituality. He was an enlightened man back in those days in Denmark. And he did talk about that the ascension or the awakening of Gaia, we're just starting then, probably the very early stages. And those people who do not resonate with that awakened Gaia that we are living on, that means the awakened way of living is love and oneness and unity and connection and cooperation and sharing. It is not um, trying to conquer or blame or make wrong. That is not the enlightened path. However, he did say that those who still have not completed their evolution on this, at this frequency, let's say, he didn't use those words, but you know what I mean, they will simply continue on a different, who knows what, planet, dimension, something. I don't remember exactly the words, this is many years ago. And they will simply continue their evolution until they come to the place where they are also choosing love and oneness. Okay, so it's not, nobody's making anybody do this except ourselves, depending on our inner state of development, of maturity, of evolution, of healing, of feeling integrated. That's what it depends on. And we are in charge of that process. It is our choice to keep healing and softening and letting go of and forgiving and self-loving and forgiving other people who do stupid things, you simply start living in your heart, which is the connection to the divine. And that's why it just starts flowing through us and as us through this portal that we are here. Therefore, since there is, so this is what he talked about in the 80s, maybe even before that, right? So it's been in the back of my mind. But now, my gosh, so many people are talking about this right now. I mean, it's unreal how many people. So it is becoming more available to us to to realize that we do have a choice. And it's also come much more alive in me, always with that memory of Martinez. And now it's here. And we need to choose. So, what do you choose? Do you want to keep on the timeline of war, conquer, division, blaming, separation, polarity, duality? Do you want to keep living in that frequency? If you say yes, keep moving on, enjoy it. If you say no, and you don't know how not to engage with that, I say, welcome. I'm glad you're choosing. Make it a very conscious choice. Keep this choice alive every moment. That's not easy, but you can do something to keep that choice alive so that when you run into a situation, there's many opportunities these days, you kind of hold this as the card that wins. It trumps everything. Is it like the ace or the king or something? I don't do cards, but there is one card that's like, boom, it wins every time, right? This is the card that we need to walk with. And this is also something in my early days when I came to America to be with Joel Goldsmith's teachings. He had already passed away, but there were some teachers who were continuing his work. And this was actually one of the exercises she gave us. You have to have this divine, your choice to choose the divine at all cost. That is what's going to trump every single situation. And please do not compare this card with the current administration. It has nothing to do with each other. Okay, so let's let that go. Don't take that on. I just realized when I said it's like, oh, a lot of people might get all upset about hearing that. Let it go. Let it go now. Don't engage with that nonsense. It's all happening in here and then it's going in here and you get all upset and then you go on that timeline that you don't want to be on. So maybe me just mentioning that card is already your first opportunity to notice like, it's like, oh, nope, let me use that. I don't want that anymore. So you need to start setting some clear boundaries to your own reactions, your own past, your own beliefs, your own unresolved issues. That's where the work is. If you don't want to go that way, you want to go on the other timeline. There's tons of timelines, but this is a very clear one that it seems like most people are aware of now. Do I want to stay here? And now that, this terrible thing happened the other day, I don't mention any incidences or names, you know what it is. Lots of division. Another opportunity to take sides. You see it? Comes at us. It comes at us. Boom, boom. Take side, take side. Blame, shame, make them wrong, be right. Constant bombardment. So it's not that there's not enough opportunities to use your card. And you say, no, no, no. I don't want to go on that timeline anymore. I want to switch and I want to move in the direction of connection, of listening. Right here, we try to understand and honor our differences so we can come into unification. We can unite. We come into oneness. This cannot live over here because it is completely opposite. It can only live over here if it's willing to soften it and transcend it or transform it back into the other timeline that your heart wants to be on. That I know 100% sure. It's your heart. If you let your heart choose, you bet you'll be on the oneness and the listening and the connection timeline. If you're listening to your mind, which is the matrix, which is duality, you will probably choose that one. Okay, so this one, mind matrix. This one, heart wisdom, divine connection. Dear friends, this is where we are standing right now. There is no way around it. You are either going to go this direction or that direction, all by your own choice. I don't think I can say it any more clearly. And I want to add that those of us who know inside that we came here as light workers, way showers, frequency holders, shamans, teachers, healers, whatever, something different than what this world is built on. We came here with a purpose for these times. And if there were ever a time, this is the time that at least if you're still feeling drawn to this timeline, that you definitely shift over here because now we need to help those who are still on this timeline but feel ready to make the shift. And I'm not talking about we need to go out there, with signs, I'm here to help you. None of that. We are here to hold that frequency. And then if we connect with people, whether it's just in the grocery store, in the coffee shop, or maybe as clients on your new YouTube channel, doesn't matter. It's your frequency now that can support people on this lower frequency timeline if they want to, that you can bridge, you're the bridge. You're the bridge. And you can help them over here. Have you ever considered yourself a bridge builder? I have felt this in myself for so, so long. There's many of us, so maybe we can add the word bridge builder or bridge transitioner or something. Somebody helps cross the bridge over to the other timeline, which is becoming more and more alive, right? They were intermingled. We were, walking with each other and we were having arguments and we were dividing, and the divide has grown and grown so that now it's very clear that there's this timeline and then there's this timeline. And there's a lot of people in between still. And if we do it just from as a natural way, just from being the united, listening to each other, connecting, not making wrong, but just listening and understanding, having a heartfelt, a sincere interest in actually understanding where they're coming from, what makes them react, what makes them choose this. then there's a softening going on. And then they may consider, oh, yeah, maybe I'll leave this one. But how do I get over there, right? You're kind of stuck in limbo, like we've been stuck in limbo for a long time. And we were stuck in limbo when it was still also connected. But then we got separated enough that we could start seeing it. And now, because many of us have been doing this work, now the gap is more obvious and it's more clear to us that we are done with this puppy over here. But we can certainly be the ones who can invite anybody who wants to come over this to this side and help them make that transition if you have some training and background in helping people with that. And if you don't, send them to somebody who can so that they get the support and the help that they need to make that transition. It's not easy when you're so identified with this, they're wrong and look what they're doing. It's a lot of energy we put in that. So it takes some willingness and some support and guidance to let go and then gently find your way over here. And then there's a whole new earth that we are. We're not creating it, we are. We're not even giving birth to it. We are giving ourselves to it. That's it. We are surrendering to this new earth because we've let go of this one. And now we make ourselves available for this whole new wave that's taking birth, that we make ourselves available so we are part of that. That's pretty much what I want to share today. You're very welcome to reach out to me if you need support. The link is in the description. You can set up a self-discovery session with me, and we can explore what kind of support you might need and if we are a good match. You're also welcome to join my monthly online Zoom group gathering called Feel Your Deepest Longing, Find Your Spiritual Calling. That's exactly what we're talking about today. Please like, share, subscribe, and certainly comment. Let me know where you have your sticky points or maybe how you moved through it. That can help others maybe get inspired that they can move out of that old into the new also. And maybe share if you also identified yourself as a bridge builder from the old to the new. We need a lot of bridges because there's probably a lot of people who want to cross over, but there's no bridge. Like, how do I get over there? So we need bridge builders. And if you feel identified with that and resonate with that, do it. Start small. Maybe your neighbor, a little conversation, if it comes up natural. It has to come from an organic sharing. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go out and say this. No, that's not it. Then you're not moving from this here. This comes just organically and naturally and effortlessly, I would say. No preparation, no editing, none of that. It's just like let it flow. Be normal, be natural, be loving, speak from your heart. Don't have any, don't expect them to change. Don't have any demands. Just, oh yeah, well, this is how I see it. I would be happy to share more if you're interested. Something that comes just from your heart. All right. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you so much.